How is everybody? Come on in. Let's get settled in. Um, I'm messing around with these filters. What the heck is that? There's the eye filter. I like that one. It looks freaky. You guys come on in here and get settled in. I'm going to be here for a little bit today. I'm going to get to know you guys a little bit. So I'm going to invite a couple of you guys on here. We're going to, as we're hanging out, I'm probably going to have to charge my phone here shortly, but then I'll be back on after that charges. I'll probably get some dinner, and then after that charges, then I'll be back on. So, but I just wanted to come on and get to know some of you guys a little bit. And we're going to talk about the third gate of the 7 gates of heaven. So you guys come on in here, look at some scenery just for a moment. I'll turn you that way. Here you go. I just got off live, and I wanted to come right in here right away before I got sidetracked or something else came along to try to keep me offline. So, seems to be the case. So I'm doing everything I can to get myself out there and to really connect with the people that are on the same timeline as I am, and that's raising the collective consciousness. We're focused on our goals, and we're only interested in making the world a better place. We're not interested in being around people who are haters. We're not interested in being around people who gossip. We're not interested around people who want to be jealous of us. We're just interested in helping people and to raise the collective consciousness, bringing people to know God in its true form. That's all we're about. That's all we're focused on. That's what people on a mission do. Come on in. We're going to let a couple other people join us here, and then we're going to start talking about the 7 gates of heaven. We're on the 3rd gate, which is the sun and the moon. The dualities of everything. How's everybody out there doing today? You guys put where you're where you're from. Hit the like, put where you're from. Hit the like and put where you're from. Come on in. Come on in. Heather Nicole, hello, hello. So I appreciate everybody coming on my lives. It's been really, I don't know what you want to call it. I've been at this for so long. And in 2009 is when I created Epiphany Zone on Twitter. And so I worked for so many years for those that are creators, you work so hard at what you do. And sometimes you're not heard, but you're always heard by the right people, right? We're always heard by the ones that are ready to hear us and the ones that need what we have and the ones that are here to take us to our next level. So I appreciate all you guys. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. So how many of you guys are familiar with the 7 gates of heaven? How many of you guys have researched that? And how many of you guys have started learning about that? Welcome, welcome. So, and if I could get if I could get one of my regulars on here to join me, I'm going to see if they can't moderate for me. Keep the haters at bay, but we all know my haters are fans. So, I have the flip phone. So, in order for me to see what I'm doing, I have to kind of flip it up, which means I can't see what you're commenting. But I will periodically stop what I'm talking about and go down into the comments and just read and make sure that I haven't missed anybody. If you guys want one-on-one healing sessions, you guys can hit me in my DMs for one-on-one healing sessions. If you would like to do a 6-week program, you guys can let me know that, which is a bundle of healing sessions. So I have a couple different programs you guys can choose from. If you don't know where your blocks are and you need an energy reading for me to find out where you're blocked, I can do that as well. And you can join my subscribers channel either on here or on Facebook for energy sessions. And those are included in the subscribers channel, and only my subscribers get those. I do offer one free consultation with somebody if they need, if they're interested in any of my services, and I can go over that with that one-on-one session. So I generally do 15-minute, 30-minute, and hour-minute sessions. I also do meditation, and then I also incorporate breath work. So today we're talking about the 7 gates of heaven. We are on the 3rd gate of heaven. The 3rd gate of heaven is the sun and the moon and the polarities. The polarities of dark and light. The polarities of balancing the dark to light. Because we all run on a calendar. We all run on daylight time. We run on daylight savings time in America. And most of our clocks are set to daylight. We wake up when the sun starts to rise, and we go to bed when the sun starts to set. Okay, so that means that we have our daytime balanced. We're good. We're good at conquering our daylight time. It's the nighttime that we have to conquer, right? It's that dark side that we have to conquer. And we each have it in us, every single person. No person is 100% evil. No person is 100% pure. Even Jesus wasn't. Jesus had a temper. When they were finally blaspheming and selling things in the church, he was chasing after people with a whip and flipping the tables. Okay, so for those of you who are new to my channel, I do still believe in the doctrinated religion, but I believe in it a completely different way than what most Christians believe in it. Because I've learned about the Christos and the Pita Sophia, and I have learned about Barbados, and I've learned about all kinds of different things. So like I said, I've been at this since 2009, so almost 20 years. And I've gotten a lot of certifications behind me because my calling is to be able to teach you guys these things. So being able to transition from the life that I had before and then transition into the life I have now to become who I am now is like night and day. So thank you guys for coming in and joining me. Make sure you tap that screen. Make sure you like it so it gets pushed out to other people that need to hear what I've got. So there's a lot of information in this page. There's so much, it's very hard for me to stay focused, especially with my ADHD brain. But when we're challenging ourselves to overcome who we are as a person and integrate our shadow, it's not necessarily saying embracing that darkness, okay? Because if that darkness is causing harm, then there's a problem. It's not okay to cause harm. And that is what integrating the dark side is. It's like in this world today, alchemizing the certain things that we have in this world, where we have these evil people that are ruling over, the collective masses, and then having to turn that and bring heaven to earth. Okay, that is the literal meaning of the dark to light. And that doesn't mean that, and that's what's so interesting, is when we're dealing with people who come from a very religious-based background, which I did, a lot of times all they really want to do is thump that Bible. And they only want to believe it in the way that it was written in the Word. When Jesus spoke in parables, that's what the whole Bible is. Jesus spoke in parables. That's how he taught his greatest disciples. And that is how we know, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, then that's what you understand. And you see that unseen thing that is behind meanings. You're able to pick up hyper perception. You're able to take things and take them apart and put them back together in a matter of seconds. You're able to pick up any of the differences in the things, whether it be just a slight eye twitch to the way somebody carries themselves, to the energy that they're carrying. And and everybody has these gifts. Some of us have just tuned into them more than others. And people say, oh, well, you think that you're better. No, I just know that I'm special and wonderfully made. That's what the Holy Bible says. I stand in that. It's not my fault that other people don't stand in that. And so my dark to light is not allowing the chitter chatter of other people or the opinions of other people get to me, because I was raised as a people pleaser. My parents were type A. We had to do everything perfect. And so I had to be very, very in tune. And I had to know what was going to be said ahead of time. And I needed to be halfway there or on the way there or at the place I needed to be by the time my parents quit speaking. And we didn't ask how high that our parents wanted us to jump. We jumped and hoped that it was good enough. And so transitioning, all of that energy, especially coming from my past life. If you were here for my last life, I went over some of the things in my past life that I brought with me into this life, which is what a lot of people don't understand. They say, well, babies are pure. How can they have these horrible things happen to them if we, if what we think we create or what we say we create? And this is how it happens, is because we are one energetic loop, and we go on forever. And so when we came to this life, we had to come from a different life. We had to come from that past life. And so in my most recent past life, I was a shaman medicine woman at the Wounded Knee Indian Reservation. And their last known massacre was in March, or from February until May of 1973. And I was born in March of 1973. And I found out about this through past life regression meditation program that helped me understand this. And then these came to me in my dreams, in multiple different dreams, because I dream of people before I meet them. I dream of future events. I dream of, I have premonitions. So I'll see things that are going to happen. And then sometimes they'll happen exactly the way I saw it. And then I'll get the deja vu when it's happening. Or I'll dream of certain things and they'll be completely different, but the outcome's always the same. So, and most of the times I dream of each dream multiple times in a row. So it looks like my battery is going to start needing to be charged here. I've got about 20% left, so I can talk for a few more minutes, and then I have to charge my phone, but I'll be back. So I decided I was going to hang out here tonight. Hopefully I've got some cool people in here that want to talk about alchemy and different things that we've learned over the years. So if anybody wants to exchange knowledge, I'm up for that game. So, but going from dark to light and alchemizing that energy, like I said, you know what I'm saying, from when I was going from my past life into this life, I had to alchemize that energy coming in from being raped and beheaded at Wounded Knee Indian Reservation. And so then when I came into this life, my father held a gun to my head and my parents were fighting, screaming and fighting. And I had suppressed that dream until I was like 14 years old. And then when I was 14 years old, then I started having reoccurring dreams of this dream. And I ran out into the kitchen one morning and I says, Mom, you're not going to believe it happened. And so I was telling her all about the dream, and she about died because she thought and prayed and hoped that I would never remember that dream. So coming from that violent thing, and then that's the thing that I also have to overcome in this life too, because because I have experienced TI, and I have experienced the gang stalking and people stealing from me and kidnapping my cat on Halloween. Who knows what they did to it, and the karma they have is just unreal from that. But I've had to overcome this my whole life. I've had to overcome people lying about me. I've had to overcome, and just to switch that dark energy, that followed me from my past life, and it has made me super tough. Like, people just don't mess with me. That's just my energy. And I walk in a room and the whole room, the energy of the room just changes. And I'm extremely friendly. I'm extremely serving. And no matter what environment I go into. And that's the people pleaser in me. So over the course of the years, in order to change that dark to light, I have still had to stand in my truth instead of just allowing things to happen, because I understand why people do things. So that gives them more space to be more abusive before I finally say, no more, enough, and it's been 13 and a half years. That's how long I was married. And so transmuting that energy from that experiencing, all that kind of abuse from the outside world, and then even with men, there's a big honeypot of men right now that keep on trying to harass me and get me to go meet them on dates, and then they don't show up, or just different things, humiliation rituals, the different stuff like that. It's just that dark, evil energy, and as you transmute it. And the thing about it is these people end up becoming so obsessed that they just follow everywhere. You know what I mean? All my social media is there, all my groups. You have to be careful if you're a friend of mine, if you're an actual friend of mine, because they will come and try and get on your pages just to suppress me, just to silence me. And so that's a lot of the reason why, my pages have been suppressed, is just overcoming that dark energy, that just has kind of tried to keep me down my whole life. And when you're alchemizing your energy, when you're alchemizing your life, and you're living in a life that you don't like, or that where you don't want to be, you don't like the things you see, you don't like the job you have, you don't like the people you're around, you have to start changing that. Choose different places to go. Choose different people to hang around. And sometimes God just might want you separated. Like me, I have been alone. I have been alone since 2017. 2017, I have been alone since. And I've had my daughter in my life, but that's it. I met some friends in 2018-19. They ended up being the start of this whole next phase of my life that I went through, because that's when I really started awakening. And that's when I started my cleaning business. It was a very successful business. I had a lot of great clients. I could go back and get them, most of them back now still. And, but I left that for my daughter to move down south because I can't be without her. So it was a very hard decision to make, but I did it. And in that, I just get pulled into so many different things. People are like, how in the hell did that happen to you? Well, it's because I'm very serving, and I don't know why. I'm just in the right place at the wrong time. I hired a gal who I did advocacy work for, and I helped her with her kids through family law. And 2 GFS workers ended up getting fired. Well, then there's the Freemason hierarchy that you have to deal with. They basically followed me all the way down here. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of screenshots of all their friends and their connected people, because it's a stalking thing. And so transmuting that energy out, even back from when, I was a little girl, that has been what I have been up against. And that's the challenge that I've had to overcome. And it has never stopped me. They always try and stop you, but it doesn't ever work. And I wake up every single day and I have the goals that I have set. I've got my blinders on, you know what I mean? I got the prize up here, and that's the only thing I'm focused on. I'm not focused on wanting to make friends. I'm not focused on wanting to date. I'm not focused on anything but my mission. And that's me transmuting dark to light. And God has put me in this place of separation. Like I said, these little aphids are driving me nuts out here. But God has put me in this separation. I've been separated since 2017. I had a couple friends in 2018, 19. I think we hung out maybe 3 or 4 times total. And I did the PR for Why I'm Essential Abate. I met a couple people in there. And then I finally, after just going through these different things, because people are automatically just threatened by my presence, just entering into a room. And that's not me being conceited. That's just the way it is. And so, if you have a bright, beautiful soul like mine, you know what I'm talking about, because that's the way it is. And so having to overcome that and then work against the odds. And then these people want to hire people to come in and try and sabotage your business and falsify different things, as far as billing and different government agencies. And it's just a nightmare. It was a nightmare. And I still made it through, and I was still successful, and I still made money. And so now I'm down south. I'm redoing everything all over again. I moved 1,900 miles away from home. But the same thing. It doesn't matter where you go, you're going to be faced with the same devils. And so as long as we stand up and stand in the truth of what is, Ephesians 6:10-20, put on the whole armor of God, wear it every single day. First thing you do when you wake up in the morning is you get your mind right with God. And then you start going about your day. You have to get your routine tapped down. And if you're coming from a place of abuse, well, then you have to get into that mindset of reprogramming your program. You have to reprogram your program in order to start thinking right. Because I couldn't even wake up without a big rock in my gut, when I had to leave my ex. And let me tell you, it's the hardest thing I ever did, because I didn't want to leave him. I love that man wholeheartedly. I still do. And it's hard. I'm not in love with him, but it's hard because I know the potential that he has. And I know what kind of a man he was. But he gave up on himself. And I wanted things to get fixed. I wanted everything to change. You know what I mean? I've never been a big drinker, so that's not something that I had to overcome. But I just wanted to eat healthier. I weighed 278 pounds. I was the biggest I ever was. And then after I left him, I lost 130 pounds, just staying focused. And we were supposed to live separated for a year. And he was supposed to court me properly and date me properly and pay his bills, quit drinking alcohol, and get his crap together. And he couldn't do that. Within 1 year, he had a DUI. He was out cheating and ended up having to make a deal with the judge and move down south. So that's how he ended up back down here in Tennessee. And so that kind of energy, I'm not into that. I already dealt with that energy once. So I'm focused. I'm focused on my mission. I'm focused on the places that I'm going. And anybody that has anything negative to say, I don't really care, because it doesn't affect me. And when I go out into the world, the people that come into contact with me, and the world, the people that come into contact with me, and the people that I have been working for, they know my work ethic. They know that it is top tier. People know that I am extremely authentic and trustworthy, and they know that if I say something, that is what it is, because I've done the research to know. And there are some things, obviously, it's like you look back at yourself through the different phases that you go through, and you can see your growth, like babes weaned from milk, like the Holy Bible talks about. Well, I was a babe weaned from milk. I was teaching Saturday night children's services, but I'd still thump my Bible at anybody that talked any of the nonsense that I teach now. And that's because I rejected the truth. And that's what the church wants people to do. They want you to reject the truth. They want you to reject the chakra system because it's woo-woo. It's not. It's scientific. It is a scientific fact. And science and God go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. But it is a scientific fact that we have energetic centers throughout our whole body, not just within our spine. But if you read Revelations 19 through 23 or 22, chapters 19 through 22, that explains how to get to heaven very specifically. And so transmuting this darkness, going from, all that, the rape and the beheading of my past life, and then coming into this life, being abused by my real father, which, mind you, that was the only time that he ever did anything like that. I think I got spanked by a belt once, but me and my brothers would throw down. That's why I'm so tough. Is because we would throw down. And they were older than me. I was the youngest, and I had to keep up with them. And so I did. I had no problems keeping up with them. And then as I got into school, I was able to keep up with them, and I'm here in, preschool, and they're in like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. My real brother's just 1 year ahead of me, but even then, they still let him go with the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, and they let him roll. They got this big, huge tractor tire, and they let all the kids get inside of it and roll down the hill, in this tractor tire, and I'm thinking, I can go in that, you know what I mean? And the teachers would not allow me to go in it because they said I was too small, that I would just get flipped right out of it. And I was so angry. That they would not let me go in that tire. And I will never forget that. I was in preschool. I could do anything my brothers could do. It didn't matter what it is. Even though they were faster than me, I could still keep up. So I've always had that ability to achieve great lengths above where I currently am. And so through progression, going from the babe, weaned from the milk, thumping my Bible, sticking to every word of God, it's like I was clinging to the word of God so tight, I was just squeezing the Holy Spirit right out of the word. And that's when you get into a lot of this with people where they're very big on the law within the Bible. But even further than that, you have to read the books that have been taken out of that in order to come into the full form of who we are, as God's children. And so you have to read all the Apocrypha. You have to read the Ethiopian Bible. You have to read the Emerald Tablets. And it's like every time I turn around, there's new knowledge that's coming out that perfectly aligns, with the different scriptures in the Holy Bible, that perfectly aligns with the Word of God. And so you cannot deny it. And so as you put it before God and you pray about it, it could be an instant answer right then, or it could take a month, 2 months, 3 months, 2 years. Like I said, I've been single since 2017. So, that's a long time. And with it just my daughter, I have been separated and alone out in the desert, for this long of a period of time. And because I had gone through the stalking and harassment and, bullshit by some of the lowlifes, that have been around, I don't have a good ability to trust. So if people don't want to show up the way I need them, I don't care whether they stay or go, because I'm perfectly content being by myself. When you're by yourself for that long of a time, you acquire certain spiritual gifts that you can't get any other way. So we're gonna after I go charge my phone here, probably in another minute I'm gonna go charge my phone, and then at 7 I'm gonna eat dinner, and then I'll come back at 8 o'clock for another live, and we'll finish this up, and I'll be looking for people that actually want to engage. So this is really cool stuff to talk about. It goes in really deep when we're talking about the third gate, which is the sun and the moon, and balancing out the dark and the light, and balancing out the dualities. Because in this world runs on dualities: wrong, right, dark, light, right, left, wrong, right, up, down, here, there, oh, yes. That's the dualistic language, if you will, of this world. And so the duality between dark and light is just no different. It's not one way or another. There are 50 shades of gray in between. And so getting to know each prism and each shade, it's like you're never going to be done overturning stones. You're always going to be turning stones over, learning new things. And that's just it. It's like the knowledge of wisdom. Wisdom is feminine in nature, by the way. And if you go research into Pitta Sophia is wisdom. They just left her name out in the Holy Bible. And if you look at scripture and you look up wisdom in the Holy Bible, it describes Pitta Sophia to a T. It's very, very interesting how they did that. How they leave certain things out, but the truth is still there. It's like only those who seek God find God. If you're just going to church at random because that's what you're supposed to do, then you have to be a good husband or a good son or a good uncle or a good father or a good wife or a good sister or an auntie, or if you are going to be a good pastor or a good pastor's wife, like that doesn't matter. None of that crap matters. The only thing that matters is what you are seeking. You know what I mean? Are you in your ego about it? When you're thinking about serving people, are you outside yourself seeking the validation? Or are you really going inward and you're really just trying to pull out the gifts that you have, work and alchemize the energy within yourself, and then offer those gifts to the world wholeheartedly, unapologetically? And I have done it for free for so long. I just feel like it's a complete scam if you're dealing with somebody who really authentically is trying to heal this world, and then they have their course prices at like $5,000 or even $1,000. Like, we're trying to raise the collective consciousness. Like, everybody knows in their right mind, in order to build anything good, you start with your weakest link. Right? So that would be the poor people. That would be the people with the broke mindset. So why are we offering courses for people, at $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $7,000, $20,000? I paid somebody $17,000 to know what I know now and still have the following I have. And where the fuck are they? Nowhere. But that's my whole point. Like, the best people. Jesus Christ didn't charge anybody for his time. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. Okay, don't mistake that. Don't twist my word. It's not wrong. You should be able to make money on what we do because this current reality requires monetary reciprocation, to be able to live. That's just what it requires. It doesn't matter where you go unless you're going off grid, but then you still have things you have to come up with to pay for. So regardless, you still have money, unless you know a lot of people that don't mind bartering. That's very far and few in between. But why are all these beautiful, wonderful coaches, mentors, spiritual leaders, why are they offering all these services at these prices that these poor people, that these broken people can't get? Like, we are only as strong as our weakest link. We are only as good as our weakest link. So why would we not be helping these people if we want to get out of here and we want to raise the collective consciousness? Because that's how we get up out of this place. Bringing heaven to earth, bringing everything together, transmuting that dark and light, the sun and the moon, right? So if we have to raise the collective consciousness and bring heaven to earth, why are more people not giving out free services for those people that are broke and busted and have the broke mindset? I'll never understand that. And that tells me that that person is in it for the wrong reason. I mean, of course we all want to make money. Of course we want to live a life of freedom. Of course we want to make enough money so that we can live a life of freedom. Okay, that's a no-brainer. But why don't they still have a step up sources to be able to get those people to raise their collective consciousness? I've never understood that, but that is transmuting dark to light in this world. And we have to think about the poor people. We have to think about the broken people. We have to think about the forgotten people. The people that the government are trying to squash. And that's why society does it. It's because the government is trying to erase them completely. Seniors and homeless and poor people. And so that's why it's so important to do that. That's part of transmuting dark to light. That's part of balancing out the shadow side of this world. And that's also a part of balancing out the sun and the moon cycles. So this third one, I knew it was going to be a little bit in depth. And I am going to go ahead and pause this here. I've got 7% on my phone. So I'm going to go charge it, and then I'll be back here at 8 o'clock, which is in about 45 minutes. And we're going to go ahead and finish talking about the third gate to heaven, the sun and the moon, transmuting that, what that looks like in our lives, what looks like in the world. And I'll give you examples of my own life and how I've had to, alchemize that, and how I'm like right at this tipping point right now. And that's when all the trolls want to come, because then I get beat down, and then I get depressed, and then I have to overcome it, and then I have to be my own cheerleader, because I've been alone since 2017. Most of you, I'm going to say, there might be one or two of you, maybe one or two of you that listens to this, that might be in my same boat, where you just don't even have one person to call, or one person that's like, hey, you got a couple people here and there that may every now and then say, hey, how are you? How's it going? This and that. But you don't have a person to call and be like, you're not going to happen today. Guess what happened to my day? Like you would your mom or your best friend. Like, that's my life. And it's not a woe is me. That's just the way it's come to be. That's where God has me. That's where God has me. And I don't resent it. I have gone through that. God and I have had it out. I've yelled, I've screamed, I've hollered, I've cried. And God said, just be patient. You can't hear me any other way, because your brain is like a squirrel, and you have to focus on me. You have to focus on me. And so because my brain is like a squirrel and I know these things, I have to focus on God. And it takes me longer than the rest than the next person, because I'm not using AI to do any of my stuff. Because I am my own cheerleader, because I do all my own things. I've built my own programs through applying all the stuff that I've had to use to be okay. Because 20 years ago, dealing with what I have dealt with, there's some people that would have gone 6 feet under drop. Some of the horrible things that had been done. And back in the day, I wouldn't have had it. But God has changed my heart, and He has given me the ability to be an example for those kinds of people. And then those kinds of people know that I'm legit, and they continue to learn from me, and they stock my pages. And they do it because they're obsessed. And it's funny, because they end up changing too in the end. God's like, hey, tap, tap, tap. I want you. You're coming with me. And I'm using her because she pisses you off and you have to overcome your triggers. Your triggers are your freedom. If there is something in your life that is triggering the hell out of you, stop and ask yourself why. Why is this making me mad? Why am I so affected by this? Lately, I've just been really frustrated with my animals. It's like really frustrated. My dog is the best dog in the whole world. But this week he's gotten into the trash, and I can't complain because, let's see, I've had this dog for 3 years now. Okay. 2.5, 3 years. And since he's a puppy, never chewed one thing, not one shoe, might have chewed up a piece of paper, like maybe the corner of it, not even a big mess, not even shreds, not even flakes. And this week he's chewing into the trash. And I'm going, he's figured it out. He's watched me to where he could put his leg on the little thing and he pushes it down and the lid pops up and he's like, oh, I'm going to eat you. And he gets all the trash and he scatters it everywhere. And I want to scream. Because then I come home and I got coffee grounds everywhere. And it's getting to me. And then I'm upset with my female because she still won't come in. And I went and got another cat for her. And now he's mean to her. And so I'm just, the animal thing is frustrating me this week. So I am being challenged to face that and ask myself, why? Why is all of this upsetting me? Well, I should have taken the trash out. There was food in it. So he wouldn't have gotten in there had I taken it out. And I still don't have a solution on the cat thing. I'm still beside myself. I mean, I love them both. I had my female for 9 years, and somebody stole my male, which was her mate. And I got them together, and they've been together for that long. And then somebody came and kidnapped him, and she's not been the same since. She's still not the same. I want to snatch these people up. So, and if I ever find out for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, they will see me face to face. Promise you that. I wouldn't even try to transmute that energy. I will embrace it fully. But I guess that's another shadow side of me that I have to overcome. So I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to get my battery charged. And then I'll see you guys back here at 8. And then we'll finish talking about the third gate to heaven. So you guys be sure when you come in here to tap that screen. I really do appreciate that. Okay. I don't know what just happened. And so, but I really do appreciate that. I appreciate your guys' support. When you guys when you come in, make sure you tap the screen. I think that's just rude to not do that. I have not ever gone to anybody's live and not supported their live. I think that's lame and bunk. And I remember your names and I remember your user numbers. And I feel like reciprocation is key. So because I do that for other people, naturally, that should be in order. So I think that it's rude if you go onto people's pages and you do that. And so I'm going to go through. And if people don't want to support, why would you go on somebody's page that you don't like? Like, you're wasting your life essence doing that. You're literally putting karma, negative karma, in your karma bank when you do that to people. And that's your karma. That has nothing to do with me. Like, I manifest every single thing I've ever tried to manifest. Everything. Jobs, cars, money, men. It just comes to me. And I don't understand how people can do that. I don't understand how anybody, I can't fathom it because it's nothing about who I am. Like, good, light, achievers, high achievers, don't do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? That's for weak people. And so I'm going to go through all of the stuff. I'm going to go through all of my stats when I get off of this live. And I'm going to put your name with where you belong on the list of my badassery people and the loser motherfuckers. Okay? And that's where your name's going to go. If that's how you represent it coming up in here. I feel like giving credit where credit is due. So thank you for those that are the badasses that come in to support, that show up, that love learning, love contributing, and want to learn about something great. After thousands of years, people suppress this. So